single night.
But remember, if you want to roll with the greats, first you gotta run the neighborhood.
All right, there it is, Ronnie, the big trailer that the world is talking about. Welcome to this week's NBA 2K cast. He's Ronnie 2K. I'm Chris Manning. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Run the Neighborhood broadcast. Ronnie, a lot going on from New York.
From New York. Feels like that was a month ago.
It
because
does.
Obviously, what a great event. So much to kind of recap and discuss. We didn't get to do a lot of it during the broadcast itself because there was so much going on. Obviously, the grand reveal, obviously everybody was like so blown away. And, then we had the NBA players come on. We had some partner obligations. We had Rachel talking to the some of the influencer guys, but we didn't actually really get to talk about it. So I thought it was important for us to do that today.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. Like, shout out, first of all, so many teams go into making what you get, NBA 2K, a reality. Shout out to our amazing video team for that trailer. One of the sickest trailers, in my opinion, in NBA 2K history.
100%.
Partners teams, you guys saw a bunch of partners posts that you were retweeting as well out there. Lots of stuff to come. As an example, the venue. New 4-point challenge from Ruffles, which is pretty cool. We got Mountain Dew tournaments coming this year. And new venues and kind of new places for players to play in. So it's going to be pretty cool to have some new features coming to the game as well via the venue in the neighborhood.
It was so funny. I was at the GameStop show 2 days before New York in Vegas, and we were presenting to, I had 12 presentations over 2 days to 500 people each. And every presentation was cool, but it was mostly about like the ratings. Having Hassan Whiteside and Mike Conley join us there was pretty awesome. But like we were holding this humongous boulder of news, and like every one of those presentations, they're like, wait, they didn't talk about career, they didn't talk about neighborhood, they didn't talk about neighborhood, they didn't talk about career, they didn't talk park, they didn't talk pro-am, they didn't talk. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, you have no idea what's coming on Thursday. You have zero idea.
Yeah, it was obviously an awesome stream. Shout out to all the influencers, media, press, international press that came out to cover this thing. A lot of great conversations we had. I was up until 4 a.m. one night just talking to a group of influencers.
I caught you that night. I was on my.
You were on the way out.
I was on my way to release everything that had happened last week. It was crazy.
Yes.
I mean, we had the Do event Saturday. How many broadcasts did I have last week? You had a bunch too, but Saturday, Do, Sunday, GameStop Expo, and I changed the tires for a NASCAR car. I don't know if I told you about that. That'll be on GameStop TV, totally random. Monday, Tuesday, the 12 presentations to 500 people each. Wednesday, we flew to New York and got ready for this event. Thursday was the bus tour, which we'll talk about a lot, and then the broadcast. And then no rest for the weary, we're 10 days away, so obviously this weekend we were up to a lot of stuff, a lot of press, and here we are back on the broadcast right after a long weekend.
Yes, now what's next? So we have the neighborhood revealed, my career, obviously Pro-Am, Park, known as the Playgrounds in NBA 2K18. Yes. Play Park, but you're on the Playgrounds. That's kind of the name of the park.
Yeah.
For clarification.
I mean, there's a lot going on with the park.
So much
Playground.
stuff.
Like, you saw the legendary park, which the neighborhood trailer starts on, and then we pan down the street. There's a lot.
Still got chills for that.
That music was like so clutch.
It was awesome.
You commended the video team. I mean, I put out this poll that said like, "What's your favorite trailer of all time for 2K?" I mean, I was fully expecting it was my favorite trailer by far.
Yeah.
But we've done so many over the years. You think back at 2K11 with Snoop and like 2K12 with Eminem and there's a lot of really
LeBron next gen
2K14, of course. How can you forget that one? So for that, it got 71% of the vote. Think about that.
Yeah.
71% of the people thought it was the best trailer we've ever released.
People are hyped. People are ready, and you know what you guys are going to be ready for on the 8th is the Prelude, of course, and actually tomorrow.
Yep.
We're going to have the trailer dropping for you guys, so we're going to have a brand new trailer for the Prelude. We're going to have links ready to go, so for you guys that are going to be ready to download it, once First Party puts those up on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, you guys will be able to directly download if you have your settings set that way, or just click on that and you'll be able to get to the links once those are activated. So we'll have those up tomorrow, starting tomorrow. And once those are activated from first party, like I said, you'll be able to get in there, download the Prelude, start your My Career. The progress does transfer over into the main game. We're not going to give away too many details because, like we said,
the trailer does a pretty good. It's a pretty good job.
Yeah, you get a little taste of it. And I know
did the influencers like play through it?
Yeah, so
obviously
a couple guys went in there and posted. I know Gento was out there. He posted some Prelude stuff. Check that out if you want. If not, definitely save it. Save all the secrets for yourself.
I mean, there's still a lot going on with the Prelude. Even if you,
absolutely.
Even if you saw one of those videos, like there's a lot going. There's something interesting in the Prelude,
yes,
which nobody has referenced, and you guys will see on Friday. It's pertaining to this guy.
Yes, there is. So that will be out on the 8th, and we're really excited for that.
Yep.
Obviously, this is a chance for you guys to get a taste of the gameplay. But not only that, yesterday and the last few days since the Run the Neighborhood event, we've been posting a lot of reactions from it. So a lot of the media articles that went up, and not just reactions to the neighborhood, but gameplay impressions. We have some all-time teams gameplay out there for you guys to check out. I know we posted a ton of influencer videos. Really, there's so many guys. I can't shout them all out here on the broadcast, but shout out to all of our influencers that were there. We got my team videos up. I know Cash Nasty, for example, was playing a game of the new draft mode, Pack and Playoffs, which is really exciting, really fun. So check out his video we posted up. We got NC Native, my boy NC Native, one of the guys that I've been playing 2K with for years. He started up a YouTube channel, and he's doing some great content there. Breaking down gameplay yesterday, he posted a couple of his videos up, offense and defense, showing off things like the new defensive communication feature that we have in the game, which will essentially allow players to understand what they're doing and where they need to be. So going over or under screens, picking up guys on fast break. It's actually a really cool feature. It's off by default, but it's under coach settings, so you can check that out. Tons of videos breaking both down offense and defense, like I said. We had Shakedown breaking down badges, archetypes. There's just so much to really talk about.
You know, Thursday was really about, like, you know what? We're very proud of the game that we built collectively. You know, you referenced so many people work on this thing.
Sure.
But, like, collectively, you know, we just were like, you know what? Let's just show them anything and everything. Let's just let it go. And, you know, obviously we're still 10 days away, and there's a couple minor things, but for the most part, you know, the neighborhood is this just gargantuan thing, and there's so much left to explore that nobody, you know, had the time to find out. It's going to take hours. Like, literally, it's going to take so much time that it cannot be encapsulated in a trailer. It cannot be encapsulated in a 4-hour press event. You know, you guys are just going to have to get your hands on it. And the good news is that we are now 10 days away from
I can't believe it. It's actually really crazy. And we can talk about everything. We can discuss.
I mean, literally, there's nothing that is left in terms of, like, usually this time, you know, you and I haven't played our first game. We'll play our first game, but just for fun, because there's so much gameplay out there between the 3 events we were at. We were at PAX, we were at GameStop in Vegas, we were in New York for the event, obviously. So there's a lot of gameplay out there. It's good because the gameplay is great. There's a lot of stuff on Career. There's a lot of stuff on Neighborhood. I think there's a couple things that we could continue to touch on, Pro-Am being one of them, and things of that nature. But
we're also following up questions that we haven't been able to answer. I was streaming for 4 hours yesterday, just on my free time, wanted to kick it with fans and kind of talk to the community and stuff. So there were some good questions that you guys gave to me. Got those in the producer's hands to get you more clarification on stuff. So working on getting some more, you know, Q&A type stuff.
I'm talking about the major
stuff. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of nice, a different kind of change of pace for us. You know, having everything out there, which is really cool. And it's really awesome to see you guys excited about it. So Prelude coming up, and the other thing is, you're probably wondering, why aren't you guys playing? Well, we don't have a retail copy yet, but once we get that disc in.
People keep asking, like, oh, last year we saw retail copies early. Well, there's a lot of differences. One, we didn't want it to be that early because of the neighborhood. We wanted to own that moment. But 2, our cover athlete finally decided to end up on a team last week.
Yes, Kyrie, now a member of the Boston
And how cool
Celtics.
was it?
Clean shaven,
I really
too.
wanted to take a picture of this
Kyrie.
in Vegas, because actually that trade thing, the changing of the art on the title screen of the game, happened in Vegas, not even at the New York event.
That's
so
good.
Obviously, at the New York event, everybody's playing with their Switch at the barbershop, and there it was. It was like, we didn't make a big deal out of it. It's a big deal, but we didn't make a big deal out of it, and there it was. Obviously, we do have box art. We saw it earlier today. It's very sick. Well, we've seen it a bunch, but I'm saying we reinforced it earlier today. We've decided to release it probably later this week. That's going to be cool. Like, that's the box art.
Besides the fact that he's on the
It's kind of
Boston
crazy
Celtics.
that we're doing the box art last, in a way. You know, like, here's a bunch of stuff.
It became our first beat and our last beat.
It's become our first and our last beat.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Well, there is one more beat after that, which is momentous, obviously.
Yes, momentous. How can you
Don't ever forget momentous.
Yeah, so lots of exciting stuff coming. We're really excited, and one cool thing is, if you haven't, definitely check out the list of influencers. And again, shout out to all of our influencers that were there. Had some great conversations with these guys. Had some great philosophical conversations. Too. Yeah, I mean, they're out there posting videos though, which is really cool. So I know, shout out to all our fans on Reddit, Operation Sports, the Twitter, the Facebooks, all the social medias of the world, Instagram. You know, we're really trying to get all that information out to you guys, and what better way than putting it in the hands of our biggest fans and a lot of these influencers that were able to partake in the event and just give that footage to them. Some got to capture directly. We only had so many capture stations, so there was some off-screen footage and stuff. But the game's beautiful. You guys have seen the art trailer, and as soon as we get that, the plan is next week, Ronnie, I will beat you. In case you haven't heard, I was challenged by the self-proclaimed number one highest, biggest free agent in esports. Dimes called me out and took an L on the rooftop with my Lakers. And the 2K gods, you want to talk about unfair, they took away Lonzo Ball in the third quarter. This happened. Lonzo Ball went down with an injury.
What team was he?
But Dimes, he was playing with Washington. And let me tell you something, John Wall.
They're really good.
Your boy John Wall.
Yeah, my
who
boy.
thinks you're a joke. He is an unbelievably,
he might not think I'm a joke
unbelievably
tomorrow.
great player. In 2K. He is quick, he is tough in 18, and 18 is a different beast. But we had a great game up on the rooftop. Shout out to Dimes, because I know you're watching. I know it still stings, baby. But you can't challenge me in one-to-one games. You're in trouble too. So next Tuesday, hopefully, if we got the game in, we're gonna play our first game. I know a lot of people are asking about that, so we'll have our inaugural matchup. Gonna try to get some gameplay producers potentially on here to kind of talk while we're playing. I know you guys are gonna have questions and stuff. That'd be cool to let them kind of answer them. It's hard to talk and play at the same time. We've done that so many years. I think shout out to people that can do that. It's actually extremely difficult. So we're gonna have our annual game for sure. That'll be fun, and I can't wait to beat you this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. NBA 2K18.
I beat him the last 3 years, I think.
Yeah. We're not going to talk and play though. We're going to take this one seriously.
I'm just saying.
We're locking in.
I don't think we talked and played last year. Pretty sure they were here last year.
We're locking in. We're locking in this year. Trust me. But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So look forward to that. And yeah, like you said, we're just about 10 days out from the release of NBA 2K18.
Of course, the Prelude is a major thing for us. It's free, first of all. It's the first chapter of Career. You have to go through it anyway, whether you do it next week or this Friday. But it's a really good thing for if your friends are wondering what the gameplay is like, how hard it is, what the neighborhood's really going to look like, all that stuff. We really encourage you guys to tell your friends to experience this thing. It's really important from a new person's perspective to see what the neighborhood is about. And it's going to be one of these things that we're going to continue to think about and adapt. And there's a lot of, everybody kept making the GTA reference, and that put a smile on my face, because it was really, that kind of thought, as GTA is obviously our sister company, and we have a lot of respect for what those guys do, and but it's bigger than that, because it's my guy, your guy, everybody's guy in this world, and it should be a lot of fun to see what craziness people come up to. That trailer is so funny, because it's there's some guy walking down rambling down the street like a crazy person, there's some guy on a bike, there's all this stuff happening that's non-basketball, but it's in a world where core basketball is so important. And that's why I was so glad to see, there was a lot of excitement about the neighborhood, but a lot of the articles that came out, rightfully so, were about our great gameplay, and that's what our game is centrally about. It's a basketball game. So it was cool to see people thinking that was the best gameplay we've ever had.
For sure, and without question, in my opinion, gameplay it's so fantastic this year, and so like again, I encourage you to watch the feedback from people.
And you guys have seen what we've said about 17's gameplay. It's not like we thought it was horrendous, but there were things that were bothered. Honestly, both you and I talked about it on broadcast over the course of the year. It bothered us,
and
there's going to be things that bother us about 18, but it's not. 18 is just very, very strong.
It's smooth. And Mike Wang was on Periscope. Periscope. I like Mike Wang.
Mike Wang
our
on
gameplay
Periscope.
guy getting into the live streaming world. That was really funny watching him.
Yeah, every time he passed by me, he'd say, "Hey, Roddy, these guys have a question for you." It was about nothing about 2K on bike.
Amazing.
That's great.
But really cool to see him in there interacting with fans and answering questions for you guys and just little things this year. We listened to fan feedback we said during patches. Now we can say it. They're going to be the plan is to be very careful about patching in gameplay stuff and gameplay changes, drastically gameplay things. I think you saw that in 17, the game drastically changed from patch to patch, and you're not going to see that kind of thing this year because the vanilla gameplay is so good. So things like that, little details like that, tons of information out there. I know the influencers were talking to
There's 3 gameplay blogs.
And,
I mean, the lost maybe in that shuffle last week was that there were 2 gameplay blogs that hit while we were traveling in New York.
I'm glad you brought that up.
So if you guys haven't read those, it was very easy to miss those. I would definitely check those out if you can. Lost in the Mayhem, that was the neighborhood.
Yep. Shout out to Operation Sports, who has all 3 gameplay blogs up, really. Our gameplay blog that came out about a month ago from Mike Wang, and then, of course, Scott O'Gallagher and Dazar coming out with some really insane, really core stuff. The nitty-gritty details of gameplay this year, and I know that a lot of fans are excited to read stuff like that. So if you haven't checked those out,
and they have gameplay videos associated with them too.
Absolutely,
the second and third
breaking them down. So a lot of good stuff there. I know OS is talking about a lot of different subjects. So it's just really great to see people discussing, conversing about NBA 2K, and that excitement is in the air. Along with 2 tired fellas right here. And shout out again to our entire dev team. They have just killed it all year. The video teams for the amazing work they put into the videos that we all enjoy. And just so many people behind the scenes that we kind of sit on the broadcast. Just thank you so much to the people that work on such a big endeavor. There's so many moving parts, and it's really awesome to see so much excitement. I know it's really cool for them to see people that don't have the opportunity to sit and talk to you directly like we do.
To build such a massive thing in a year, to take it to the next level, it is. I mean, there's a lot of people involved, and we can't say it enough that we work with some extremely brilliant people, and like regardless of what happens throughout the course of this year, we gotta look back and think, wow, like how much did this game shift? And of course, everybody wants more. Everybody wants the next big thing. But we, as that trailer says, we're priding ourselves on being the leader and the innovator in terms of this stuff. There's other games that are now coming up with like career and like face scanning and all this other stuff that we've done for years. And inherently to open up like a community. And I'm sure that some company, some other group is going to come up and try to build a neighborhood, and it will be not called a neighborhood, but it will be very possibly exactly like ours. So and it's just inherent to the business.
And I think like one thing
we just don't want you to forget that like it was a very talented bunch of people at 2K that came up with this.
Absolutely, and I again, shout out to all the developers. And one other thing I'd like to add is it's really cool to see you kind of set the trend in the industry, right? Like we're a sports genre, we're an annual title that has its pros and cons and challenges, right? And I think it's really awesome to see something like this unveiled. I know for me personally, this was probably the most exciting thing. Definitely a career highlight in my 6 years at 2K, and just really looking forward to it because the game is just fun this year. They took the best bits and pieces from the past, like Mike was talking about, just from a gameplay perspective. That's something I think a lot of fans had criticism with 17. I think you're going to love 18.
There's different people that work on different things. Like you guys have seen the faces behind those people. We had Ben Bishop join our broadcast for the neighborhood, who's been one of the lead producers on Career for years now. And obviously, Mike Wang's known for gameplay along with Scott and Zach and Jerson and Jesse and so on. So there are a lot of people, but they're very focused on doing their best in those particular facets, and it's really a testament to those guys' work that we're here. Obviously, this time of year everybody's very excited, very exhausted, but it's just like ready for this to get into the hands of you guys, the fans. So,
and that starts on September 8th, baby. So get ready for the Prelude, like we said.
3 days away.
Xbox One, PlayStation 4, the Prelude is heading your way in just a few days. It's Tuesday. It's coming out on Friday the 8th. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think, for you guys to hop in. And one thing that we haven't really talked about is archetypes. A lot of different archetypes. Obviously, dual archetypes is something that the community was asking for. The devs delivered on it. It's going to change the way people play. You can become a pure archetype, kind of like a pure player in that kind of play style, or you can become a hybrid and do multiple things. And so that will
create a lot of it'll create a lot of layers,
a lot of options.
And then eventually with the esports stuff,
you got to think about your teammates, right? To pro-am, stuff like that. So how you're going to complement each other, right? So it's not so much just thinking about you, but your role with the team and stuff, I think is going to be fun. And I heard a lot last year, we don't want to be glorified role players, right? But then they would see something like a lockdown hit a 3, and they'd be like, well, they're a defender. Why are they shooting 3s? Well, I thought you didn't want to be a glorified role player, right?
There are 3&D players.
Yeah, so now, now with this system, we hope that it gives you the flexibility to create kind of the players that you want to create. And again, there's tons of videos out there on it. We got a lot of excitement around that. I think it's going to be a fun year in terms of seeing how people choose a certain play style. Like for me, I'm really struggling between a playmaker. I'm thinking pure playmaker, actually, not doing the hybrid stuff. Pure playmaker, or obviously a shot creator, if I want to be a 2. I mean, you know me.
So you're going pure.
I might be pure on either way. I just might be. I don't know yet. Like, people were asking me on the stream last night. Like I said, I streamed for 4 hours over on my LD2K Twitch channel. Go subscribe if you haven't. Talking to fans, answering as many questions as I could, and getting questions that were actually really good questions I didn't know the answer to get over to the producers and stuff to try to get answers for you guys. But I don't know what I'm going to create. I'm like right there with the fans. It's not like we've had a chance to sit and play like the fans. I kind of wait for the final version when it comes to my career and archetypes and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to go 1 or 2 this year. I'm like the fans. I'm kind of looking at what people are breaking down. That's really fun. So again, we have tons of videos up on the 2K channels. Yesterday, if you check out our Twitter channel, tons of influencers talking about different things. Obviously, we can't post every video that's out there because these guys were racing to get all this content out there for you guys. But go watch it, go check it out, go enjoy it. This is that fun time of year. We're really excited about it.
Ultimately, everybody's on that same path, though, right? With the Road to 99.
Road to 99.
I think one of the coolest things about it is, and I was one of these guys too, where I'd sit there and I'd be playing career, trying to get this badge, when I really wanted to go use it in my park, and I think that was something that we needed to address, but it was so much easier. I mean, addressing it just for the sake of it is one thing, but to build it into one system because it is one overarching world was super critical. So I just think it made a lot of sense for us to go that way, not only because the fans wanted it, but because the world kind of demanded it, right?
True, yeah.
And so I think everybody playing towards one kind of big goal, you can really stack up against other people, but you can also play it however you want. And we talked to Ben about this on the broadcast the other day. It's okay, you get a phone message from your agent saying, hey, go do this. You don't have to go do it. I feel like in previous years, you got pulled into scenes, you got pulled into whatever. And now it's you go wherever you want, you do whatever. I think there's going to be a lot of people that just sit there and explore. You've talked about that. I think there's also going to be a lot of people that sit in the 2K zone and play Papa Shot and do silly things like that, games within games. And I got this tweet from somebody that said, I don't have enough time in my own life to take part in 2K's life. I mean, you remember that Office episode?
Second Life. I knew you were going right.
Second Life. That's the kind of level that we're getting. But you'll see it just, what we can do with it in the future is pretty awesome too.
And we talk about ratings, right? All this rating conversation leading in, it's become this phenomenon. That's what it's about. Road to 99 is about getting your rating up, ultimately. And, you see how important it is to NBA
These players cared so much. Now,
it's going to be important here. And don't expect the same amount of time to get up to a legend status last year that's going to be for 99. It's a long road. There's a lot to do, a lot to unlock.
We wanted people to enjoy it too, because along the way you'll do some really
Yeah.
cool stuff, get some really cool stuff.
And that's the thing. I think players are going to like what we have kind of hidden away in there. We've talked about it on the broadcast from the Run the Neighborhood event. Really, there's like 3 core pillars. It's discovering, it's competing, and it's socializing. And those are the 3 core pillars of this whole entire experience, whatever you want to define it as. We want it to be really fun to go and discover things. You're going to discover certain things that is going to be a little bit different from the next player, and nobody's going to have that kind of same my career path, right?
Yeah.
You're going to kind of be able to play it how you want, when you want, where you want. You're going to also have the ability to socialize with people. You saw in that trailer, other than people that are running the stores, so like you go into Swags, you might run into somebody working in the Swag store. That's a non-playable character. Everybody you saw in that trailer
and
was
NBA
real, and NBA players.
You'll see NBA players.
Everybody you see in that trailer is real my players running around. We had QA testers in there running around with the people from the event, and so you kind of got a little glimpse of what it's going to be like when this thing launches and players are interacting with each other. So that socializing
That took a lot of
aspect.
coordination because, like, without the game in the real world, to get
Yes.
that many people there at
was-
that current time. So yeah, we arranged with QA to
Yeah,
It was a very
pretty cool.
orchestrated event. And shout out to everybody on the 2K side that was
Yeah.
involved. It was extremely, extremely aggressive what we did.
It was really awesome. And again, shout out to our video team for a great trailer that I think just gave chills to us. I remember
Yeah,
we were
when
sitting
we
in the
first
room.
saw it.
I kind of tweeted about this. We were sitting in the room, and Ronnie and I had an earpiece in, and more than anything, as much as I love doing that broadcast, I wanted to be out there on the
Yeah, we
floor.
did.
And we just heard the roar of the crowd, and that was such a crazy moment. That I'll never forget that sound. But it's really cool. And then obviously the third pillar is competition and competing, and Pro-Am, my career, park, however you want to do it. You can go out there and earn
It's
the same.
it's still grounded in
Yep,
competition.
and this same progression system, no
Yep.
matter how you want to do it. So, really, you get to choose how you want to play. And there's a lot of things that are within the neighborhood that I think players are going to start to discover and find out things. And
We
share
couldn't
that
have
information.
captured it enough in that video. No matter how long that video was. For example, the first thing that we did when we got on the broadcast on Thursday was Jason Tatum was with us, third pick of this past draft for the Celtics. He
Moveset inspired by Kobe.
He goes backwards. He walks the wrong way.
Yeah.
Oh, the wrong way. There is no wrong way. He walks the wrong way, and he finds a subway and jumps on the subway
Yep.
and takes the subway. And
Yes.
Subway wasn't in the trailer.
Yeah, there's lots of
a
things.
lot of things like that.
Absolutely, lots of things that people are going to discover, and we're really excited about it. Like we mentioned, on the 8th, the Prelude starts now. Like last year, there's going to be a cutoff point to the Prelude in preparation to continue your My Career. Or if you don't play the Prelude, obviously you'll start with this experience in the retail copy, so you're not going to miss anything. But who wouldn't want to get a jump start on their My Career, right?
Yeah.
That's the best
Play
thing.
it-
And
play it a few
definitely
days
share the word to all your friends. Get it out there, because this is going to be a really exciting time. I think people are going to really like how we kind of begin this whole thing if you haven't seen it.
And if you happen to see a certain someone in the Prelude,
yes, I have
tag
seen.
him on Instagram.
Yes, I have seen this. I got to talk to somebody. We need to get a virtual LD out there. I'm doing score table stuff, and rooting on.
I mean, that sort of is.
If they're
like
gonna
your
put
thing.
me in a Boston Celtics arena cheering for the Celtics, virtual LD, 2K this is, I need a role. So we're gonna hashtag get LD a My Career role.
Got it.
Trending, and we're gonna get that for 2K.
Get it trending.
Don't really, but it's pretty cool. It's a really fun experience, and it'll give you a taste for the neighborhood and some other surprises there, and kind of get the My Career portion of it started, which your progress carries over into the retail game, obviously in just a few days, about a week later to be precise. So lots of fun stuff, man. It's gonna be great. I know you guys, if you're just jumping in the stream, we're talking about our game. We are going to play it. We don't have retail copies in yet. We want to kind of play the retail version and bring it down here. So hopefully next Tuesday we can do that, and Ronnie and I will play a game.
And then we'll probably do a broadcast on Friday launch day. I know all you guys will
absolutely.
be playing, but we'd still like to
jump
do that.
in, have some fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite the time.
It will be lit.
We'll be lit, as the children say and the My Team folks say. By the way, My Team, really cool to see some pack and playoffs games. So at the event, the whole entire game was playable.
Yeah.
So we had obviously a whole entire
Again, wanted to show everybody everything.
crew of influencers there, along with media, and it was really fun to watch you know, those guys play and play different things. I saw a lot of park games being played, right, and got some footage of that. Again, shout out to all of our influencers that are there. So many to name, really, off the top of my head, but shout out to all you guys, all the media that came out, the international press. Like, it really was a 2K moment, unlike anything else. Global moment for the brand. So that was just a
the bus tour was pretty crazy too. You missed that, like.
Yeah, I was back prepping for you. You can talk about that a little bit.
I literally showed up at the broadcast 2 minutes before we went live.
That's true.
And Gento calls me. He's like, "Hey, I'm outside." I'm like, "Dude, we're about to go on and." Coordinated getting him in, but like literally this was a 120-second span where, just think about this crazy day we had. The bus arrived at the venue at 3:28 p.m. I actually had built in a half an hour buffer. Remember originally we're like, oh, maybe we'll start at 3, it'll be okay. I mic'd up, I dealt with Gento, got on.
There it is.
But anyway, bus tour. So what a crazy day. We had 2 buses, influencers press that you mentioned. Both of them started in different locations, so we went from, one of them started at Foot Locker, the other one started at the barbershop. Tobias Harris was at the barbershop. They got their haircut. They got to play on Nintendo Switch for the first time. That stuff was pretty cool because they got a Nintendo Switch. And then the other bus went to Foot Locker. There was the new Kairachis presented by Foot Locker and Nike that they had hooked us up with all the influencers. Very cool shoe.
Yep.
Then they swapped and they ended up in the opposite spots, and then they merged together at the Harmon studio where they got a performance by Dave East. We talked a little bit about career, just top level. Talked about the music that inspired. And this whole thing was presented by Belbito and what was the other influencer? He was on my bus and I forgot his name. My brain is dead. But anyway, they both discussed the history of basketball in New York and neighborhoods. And the whole time everybody's like, maybe this is leading to something, but the scope of it. And then you mentioned, like, we started the broadcast, all those guys looked up at the big screen, saw this trailer, and their minds were blown. And then, we opened it up to everyone. But we really wanted to give the background of like some of the spots you would see in the neighborhood, and a few people figured it out. But to be honest, like up until Wednesday, I'd say like there were maybe a dozen people outside of our office that had any idea what was going on with the Run the Neighborhood hyping and stuff. So generally, we always do that. And people always forget every year. Like what was the one a couple years ago with, the TV spot with, it was eventually did the Jordan Rec Center, but it was the God Next spots in there. We've always started with something in a campaign. And everybody's like, oh, they're not telling us something. And I'm always like, every single year, I'm like, we told you everything you need to know. You just need to figure it out.
Yeah.
Every single year.
There's a lot of foreshadowing.
There's always foreshadowing and things that we do. So it's a cohesive campaign that ends in this big moment.
The funniest thing for me is
Spike Lee as well. Right?
I remember when we first released the Kyrie invitation, and if you looked on some of the end slates behind Kyrie's head in the animated end slate, you see kind of like blocks behind him. And one of my friends said,
well, the influencer kid had Run the Neighborhood as a hashtag.
Yeah, and it was funny because one of my friends actually was like, it'd be really cool if you could go outside of the park gates and explore a world. I'm like, we make a basketball game. We don't make GTA, right? Yeah. We make a basketball game. But it was really funny.
Do you remember the Make-A-Wish?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. You could share that now. That was actually really great too.
Oh my God, I could not believe it. So we've done a lot of Make-A-Wishes, and the last one we had with Mikhail, who was also at our event. His family came, and his sister was a big fan of the game, and it was funny. We had been working on the neighborhood for months, so it didn't come together overnight, but she was like, what would be cool? And she basically spouted off everything that we were thinking about. Not everything. We had plenty more, but there was leading. She laid out what we were doing. I'm just sitting there trying my hardest.
I remember I was kind of just looking around the room.
I looked at Eric.
The reactions.
I looked at Eric and he's like, His eyes were like wide open. I'm like, please don't throw up on the table.
Yeah, and that was pretty amazing. But it's cool because that's what people, you said it, you know, people always are asking for more and more and more. And if I hope there's one thing you guys can take away, it's that we have amazing producers, we have an amazing development team that is working hard, is always listening.
There's no other game that does it.
Is trying to innovate in ways that we try to make the best basketball game that we can. And sometimes that, you know, that kind of incorporates the culture of the NBA, both, you know,
and sometimes it's
on and off
not
the
like
court.
a straight line path. Sometimes there's reasons we have to deviate. I mean, we talk about this all the time, but like 2K10, we introduced career, right? 2K14, we introduced the park. And then we realized, like, okay, we've built this world, but like, why do you care about who this player is? So let's build face scan, right? So then face scan came along and you were yourself in the park.
Yeah.
And then we need to figure out a way, like, why do you care about playing with a squad of people? Like, why do you want to do that? So then came, you know, Park, like more sophisticated squatting up at Park, JRC, things like that, and then eventually the Pro-Am.
Yep.
And then we're like, okay, now we need to take Pro-Am and make it a competitive thing.
Yep.
And that's where the esports stuff has come from the last couple of years. And now our next adventure was, you know, how do we like make the aesthetic experience a little bit more ingrained in the culture, and like that's where the neighborhood came from. So like it's got this path. We have obviously visions towards 19, 20, 21, whatever. There's a long-term story, and we'll continue to iterate with your guys' feedback. But you know, a lot of it is a plan and a passion project for a lot of very talented people we work with that just takes time. And it you know, that's been the path. Like it was a very well thought out thing that got to where the neighborhood reveal on Thursday. Like lots of years, you know, my first year here was 2K, between 2K and 2K9, and you know, since then, my play wasn't a thing back then. Think about that.
Right.
My player didn't even exist.
Yeah,
right. Like,
right.
And you know, now we have an open world in the game of my players. Not just your my player, our my player.
It's pretty crazy to think about the progression of the series, and it's something we celebrated in the trailer, and you know, definitely celebrating today. So that all begins, of course, with the Prelude on September 8th. We're really excited about that. A free downloadable experience for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox Ones for you guys to get in there and play this bad boy. Start your My Career. It's the jump start of your My Career, so the progress will carry over. If you miss it, you'll pop in the game and you'll play through this experience anyway, just like last year, right? So that's a good comparison to the Prelude last year, in terms of like how the progress continues and how it carries over.
But spread the word. It's free.
Spread the word. It is free. We want as many people playing this thing and experiencing a little glimpse of the gameplay, a little start of My Career, get a little tease of the neighborhood. You guys are going to really enjoy it, I think. And then we are just, you know, about a week from that Prelude
only
dropping.
if you pre-order though.
About a week away. If you prelude, if you pre-order September 15th, September 19th global. Definitely want to pre-order to get that September 15th release date.
Now.
Pre. But I'm gonna smack you in our pre-match for the pre-release match of Ryan 2K versus LD. Yeah. And you have a big problem because you ain't gonna handle big ballers now. You got a problem. His name's Lonzo Ball. When the 2K gods took him away from me against Dimes.
I wonder who I should be.
Against Dimes in the third quarter, we still handled business. So you don't want any.
Because he's only got one player at one position. So.
Okay.
The Lakers already hate me for the John Collins.
If I don't say a word next week, that's because I'm focusing in on that.
The Lakers already hate me for the John Collins thing. So. John the Baptist.
They almost blamed me for that. I had to hold my ground.
I'll definitely take the heat for that. That was good.
Yes. So again, guys, thank you guys for just being the best fans in the world. Prelude on September 8th. Obviously, if you pre-order NBA 2K, experience this Run the Neighborhood campaign. Experience running the neighborhood with NBA 2K18. September 15th is when NBA 2K18 will be in your hands 4 days early for early tip-off weekend next week. So a lot of exciting stuff coming your way. And of course, If you want to learn more details, check out Operation Sports. Amazing blogs by Scott O'Gallagher and Nazar. There's tons of media articles talking about the neighborhood and this new experience that we're bringing in that's combining all these great things together. My Career, Park, Pro-Am. Obviously, it's one universal ranking system called the Road to 99. We have an infographic out there that kind of explains some of that stuff.
Definitely check that thing out.
Definitely awesome.
That thing is nuts.
You guys saw from the partners that we work with, all the amazing partner teams. You're seeing this new influx of content coming in, right, from all these different
Do
partners.
3X, by the way. Holy cow.
That venue's awesome. And of course, there is a place in the neighborhood called The Venue, and that will house stuff like house rules, special events, stuff like that. So it won't actually affect you.
Which, by the way, you know, we haven't revealed all of them, and we won't before launch because there'll be different special events.
And the one that we did talk about that's so cool, and you guys saw, is there's a Ruffles 4-point challenge. And the cool thing about that is, like, I saw some people talking about, well, what if I'm a big? We thought about that. So bigs are going to have a role to play in this thing. It's not just going to be about those sharpshooters and deep three-point shooters that think they're all Stephen Curry out there, the AAU mindset of basketball IQ.
It is pretty cool, though, if you're...
It is cool if you're a big.
If you have 12 and you hit one of those,
it's
you win
cool.
the game.
It's cool. It's really cool, and
psychology.
we're thinking of all the different players. So bigs are not going to be left out. I think it's going to be really fun and a different way to play NBA 2K, right? Just a kind of a fresh experience that's going to be brought to you via the venue. And there's all kinds of really cool stuff like that spread across the neighborhood. I can't say that enough. Like, really cool things for you guys to unlock.
There's things that people have not
one road
discovered for sure.
Yes,
like,
and
100%. There's a million.
It all begins with that prelude on the proving ground. So we're really excited for you guys to get.
Just to be clear, by the way.
Yes.
Well, you'll see it in the trailer, but you can't. The prelude isn't the whole experience. Like, you can't go outside of the playgrounds.
It's just a taste.
But it's just a taste, because that's, again, it's just like last year where, you know, you only got the first chapter of career. There is no chapters now, but you get the first place where you start. You got to earn your way onto the full experience. So, which it's not like it's hard.
It's going to be awesome.
But you have to do it in the.
It's
an
experience, baby. So, you know, we're really excited for the prelude. Yeah, I think that's about it today. Obviously, go check out all the influencers that were at the event. I'm sure they're talking about NBA 2K18 on all of their channels. So shout out to all you guys that came. And we're cranking out content. We're appreciative, everybody here at 2K.
I look forward to seeing tomorrow's Prelude trailer. It should be definitely interesting for you guys. And of course, Prelude on Friday. And then we are a week away. And we'll be back next Tuesday on our broadcast. Hopefully we will have a retail copy 3 days before launch. If we're not, I'm going to be very scared. No, I'm just kidding. This whole Kyrie cover thing has created some fun obstacles for us, to say the least. But it's fun. I love it.
I don't know if I can use Kyrie as a member of the Boston Celtics and team up anymore.
That's sad.
I am sad as a Laker fan. The one team he had to go to was the Boston Celtics.
Yes, sir. But we'll be back on Tuesday for our broadcast. But until then, enjoy a weekend full of playing the Prelude. And we will see you guys next Tuesday. Hopefully you guys will have a lot of thoughts for us on the Prelude this weekend. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you next week.